Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful, entertaining, educated edition of We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. I'm your I'm your brother, your host, Brother Ron, also known as R2C2H2 the Artivist. I have to do a show tonight. I was kind of fighting. Should I do the show? I should have did the show last week. So much been going on, but I just want to weigh in on my movie review on American Skin. But before we get too deep, before we get skin deep or beyond skin deep into American Skin, I just want to check y'all can hear me. Let me know y'all can hear me. Y'all can see me. Can you feel me? I'm just looking around, just checking on everything. But I hope y'all having a wonderful week beginning. Sunday's actually the first day of the week. The Sabbath is actually Saturday. So I always use Saturday as my rest days for the most part. But I hope all is well. Got a lot to dig into. Thank Sister Nicole's view for allowing me on her platform. I hope I didn't get in too much trouble. I think the video is unlisted. So I think I posted the link. If y'all have a link, y'all can check it out. But what's going on, people? What's going on, good people? What it do? I'm trying to find something. What it do, my good people? What it do? It's a lot to get through here. It's like everything's okay. Thank y'all for the salute. Thank y'all for tuning in. Where's the Great Duke Skeleton? We love you madly. Oh man, got a lot to cover in a short period of time. The God is good. And thank y'all for the donations. I mean, I really appreciate the love that I've been receiving from you all. The very timely donations that let me know that the services I provide at We All Be are very much needed and appreciated by the people. Y'all some good folks. Y'all really helping us move it forward. And we got a lot of great things in store for the very near future because we're going to have to start making plans, family, to vacate these premises, man, because the way they doing censorship is real. It's like we live in the 1930s on steroids. And we really got to get prepared because, for the worst of days as well as for the best of days. But better days are ahead. But Biden days are here again. Biden days are here again. Hope it is Biden time. Hope this soon shall pass. But let me read a disclaimer. The views expressed by hosts and guests on the We All Be TV platform are not the official views, opinions, beliefs, or perspectives of We All Be News or the We All Be Group Incorporated. We All Be News is an organization that thoroughly believes in supplementing the information narrative that is usually supplied by the corporate news entities with those viewpoints and expressions which may be marginalized or ignored for a plethora of reasons. We are about informing the general public on alternative perspectives as it relates to news and information and letting the general public be the ultimate judge in deciding on how to use said information. Informed citizens are responsible citizens. Thank you for your support. So we got a great show lined up. The ancestors been in my ear. They said, Brother Ron, please share with the people what you know, what we have given y'all. The righteous ancestors or ancestors told me at the beginning of this still new year, Brother Ron, if you take care of the people, we will most definitely take care of you in ways you can't imagine. And let me tell y'all something. The righteous ancestors have been living up to the end of the deal. So it is my hope that I can release, like, how Tupac released a lot of them songs over a period of time. I got a lot of information I want to share with you all on this platform and beyond about our people. There's no new, and no, and I'm just be honest, let's be real. Ain't nobody do new black media like Brother Ron at We All Be TV. Nobody can do it. Can't touch this. Nobody can do it like us. We got a different, way of doing stuff. My flow is different from everybody else's flow, and much respect to everybody out there. But it may be time for a great migration of new black media. Like, how our ancestors over 100 years ago did the great migration. It's time for Black knowledge to have a safe space to prosper. It's time for our people to be able to get information that we need to not only survive but also thrive in these type of times. And I want to encourage other new Black media outlets to step their game up. I'm stepping my game up. Let's get a let's get away from the junk food and more into nutritious food. Food on let's eat to live. I'm talking about the information and knowledge. Let's get away from all that junk food, all that gossipy stuff and innuendo. It's not serving our people any well. And I started thinking about it. Man, I see a lot of Black YouTube. We be focusing on Black relationships and Black love. I'm gonna tell you something. Self-love is the ultimate love because if you have the ability to love yourself, you have the ability to love everybody else. If you can love the worst things about, if you just can embrace yourself in love, that and knowledge of self and self-love goes hand in hand to create a very powerful foundation. Because a lot of us try to look for things outside of ourselves. See, the way this system works is a consumer mentality, right? They want you to think that everything that you need is outside of your body. But your energy, access that inner God, your energy, your body is your temple. Anything you need, you can manifest from within. It starts from within and it works its way out. So I want to encourage my people, take care of your health, because I see a lot of us, we let outside things influence and shape our reality too much. We let things undermine our health, our wellness, things that we cannot control. And I want to encourage Black people, so-called Black people, whatever you want to call yourselves, start focusing on things you can control. Don't worry about things that are out of our hand. Focus on things that are within your grasp of understanding and understanding and overstanding, and work on those things. Dick Gregory, people ask me, people say, well, I miss Dick Gregory. I can't miss Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory speaks to me every day. He lets me know he's here. I'll be looking at a video interviewing somebody mention Dick Gregory. Look at a movie, somebody mention Dick Gregory. I see Dick Gregory and people like getting understanding of their health and wealth, how that goes hand in hand. That's Dick Gregory. But Dick Gregory keep on wanting to tell me to remind you all, Brother Ron, remind them the three things that are really killing us: lack of sleep, lack of exercise, and lack of water. Start drinking that water, y'all. We need water to survive. We mostly made up of water, but we're not getting enough water, not enough sleep, not enough exercise. A lot of times, you get them headaches, you mean you dehydrated. You got, lower back pain. A lot of times you're not drinking enough water. So your body, get to know your body. Y'all keep on thinking of my body all over your body all over my body. Forget all that. Get to know your body. Get to know me, myself, and I. This is the time to get to know yourself. Know thyself. Not just reading books and looking at video lectures, but get a chance to get attuned with your mind, body, and soul. This is the time, folks, because this is not only spiritual warfare. This is all, every area of human activity in this system is warfare. So get that mind right so you get that body and soul in line. Get everything aligned right. Stop worrying about if you're going to have a Valentine on Valentine's Day. That's not even important. Because if you don't love yourself, then nobody loves you. If you don't love yourself, then nobody loves you. So I think that, but drink your water, get your rest, and exercise. And exercise means just keep movement. We are movement people. Black folks, we're very spiritual, soulful people. We are movement people. So keep it moving. Keep it moving. Thank everybody for tuning in. But nobody does it like Brother Ron, man. Ain't no this. Hey, I got my own thing, man. I'm in my own lane. This is my wheelhouse. You understand? Rest in peace to Hammer and Hank Aaron. Nobody did like Hank Aaron, man. Hank Aaron was a baseball god, but they disrespected this man while he was alive. And he's one of the greatest. He's in the top 3, top 5 baseball players of all time in terms of just hitting. The man is, one of the greatest hitters. I mean, to me, my favorite hitter of all time is Barry Bonds. Barry Lamar Bonds, to me, is the greatest hitter. I mean, he's left-handed, and I'm left-handed. Babe Ruth was left-handed. I mean, but Hank Aaron, man, did his thing. The man had some giant hands, strong wrists, and he was just a consistent, just a consistency, man, over a long period of time. I don't think Hank Aaron ever hit 50 home runs in the season. He just was consistent with it. And also he started in the Negro Leagues, and we still got Willie Mays, Say hey, kids. Say no. Say hey, kids. Say no to whatever they're trying to give you, man. Willie Mays is still around. And also, we just lost Charlie Pride, one of the real kings, uncrowned kings of country music. Charlie Pride was a Negro League baseball player. He was a pitcher for the Memphis Red Sox back in the day. I knew people that played with Charlie Pride in the Negro Leagues, and they talked about him. He probably was a better musician than he was an athlete, but it worked out for him, right? So we just lost Charlie Pride. We lost Hank Aaron. These guys were all used to play in the Negro Leagues. And when people got overstand, the Negro Leagues were one of the greatest economic engines in black America. One of our greatest businesses was the Negro Leagues. The Negro Leagues at the time when Jackie Robinson became the Trojan horse for the major leagues, they were making way more money than the major leagues. You had black and white fans who loved watching the Negro Leagues because the baseball was very exciting. Like you look at, for example, when Jackie Robinson came to the Brooklyn Dodgers, people could not believe that Jackie Robinson was still on home base the way he was. He got that from the Negro Leagues. So we had a flashy style of playing that was very entertaining to the population. So you had black and whites that loved Negro League baseball. And majority of Negro League baseball was controlled by black people, with the exception of the Kansas City Monarchs, which was owned by J.L. Wilkerson, a white man who was friends with Branch Rickey, the general manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers. So they made a deal. So when they had Jackie Robinson cross over to the Brooklyn Dodgers, see, that's always an inside job. They started taking all this money away from the Negro Leagues. You understand? You hear like a woman named Effa Manley. I did a show on her. I think she ran the Negro Leagues baseball team known as the Newark Eagles or Giants. But allegedly, she was passing for black. She was really a white woman, or I don't know what she was, but she loved black people. So she was really could pass for white, but she chose to live as a black woman. So she's in the Baseball Hall of Fame, but she really was trying to fight against the encroachment from the Major League Baseball on the black baseball talent in the Negro Leagues. So the Major Leagues, after Jackie Robinson crossed over, they started taking all the best black baseball talent from the Negro Leagues, and they did not compensate the owners of the Negro Leagues for taking all this talent. So Jackie Robinson was a Trojan horse. He was not the best Negro League baseball player at the time. A lot of people think Josh Gibson was the best. He was the black Babe Ruth. Hell, Babe Ruth was allegedly black, and that's another story. But Jackie Robinson, by the time he died in his 50s, he was very disillusioned with Major League Baseball, with white people. You know, y'all talk about Colin Kaepernick. Jackie Robinson did not salute the flag during the national anthem. He would sit down. He never saluted the flag or stood at attention for the national anthem because he never felt like he was appreciated by his own homeland. He was a stranger in his own homeland. He was a prophet without honor. But he saw Jackie Robinson was disillusioned by the time he died from diabetes. He was legally blind. Jackie Robinson was in his 50s when he died. But by the time he died, he was an 80-year-old man. He was legally blind. He saw Major League Baseball did not care about black people. So he died a bitter, disillusioned man. And his wife, Rachel's still alive. She's almost 100 years old. So anyway, I say all this to say, black people, let's learn this history. Y'all want to be with white people at all costs. You wonder why we can't get ahead, because we always want their acceptance. We want to sleep with white people. We want to hang around white people. We want to live in the same neighborhoods. We always go into places where we're not respected. We love to eat in restaurants where they spend your food because they didn't want to serve you anyway, but you go ahead and stay there because you got this need to always be around white folk. Learn how to be a friend to yourself. Learn how to be comfortable with your people. Learn how to create an agenda that's really about black people first and foremost. Not how will white folks feel that we got our stuff organized. Don't you know the best times for black folks when white folks force us to live and deal with each other? Jim Crow was a blessing. Some of the best high schools in the country were not white high schools, but black high school. Look at Dunbar High School in D.C. It was known as M Street High School back in the day before it became Dunbar High School. Mary's Church Terrell, who was from Memphis. Her daddy was Robert Church Sr., the first black millionaire of the South. She was one of the first black women to get a college degree in America. She went to D.C., was a teacher, I think was even a principal, I'm not mistaken, but she was an educator at Dunbar High School for a long, long time. Her husband was a black judge, Harvard Law educated black judge Robert Turrell. And she helped desegregate DC after Woodrow Wilson resegregated DC. Woodrow Wilson was the Joe Biden of his time. He's a so-called progressive Democrat, Dixiecrat, Democrat, but he was so-called progressive from Virginia, who was classmates with Thomas Dixon, the guy who wrote the book The Klansman, which is the foundation for the first blockbuster movie in Hollywood history, The Birth of a Nation. That was his classmate, Thomas Dixon. And he screened that movie in the White House. He said it was like writing history with lightning. This is who black folks thought was the next coming of Lincoln. I mean, some of our great black leaders thought that this was the guy. They told black folks vote for this guy. Just like so-called black leaders told us to vote for Joe Biden, Jim Crow Biden, Jim Crow Joe, Slow Joe, Sleepy Joe, Beijing Joe, China Joe, Hell No Joe. Yeah, that Joe, right? G.I. Hell No Joe. Hojo. Okay, Howard Johnson, right? Okay, anyway, what I'm saying is history is a weapon if you know how to weaponize it for your leverage. See, I'm telling y'all stuff y'all ain't gonna get anywhere because I don't care about no football. If y'all haven't figured out that this stuff is rigged, I don't know what to tell you. How can Tom Brady? Tom Brady is like golden boy. Come on, man. Who write these scripts, man? Why can't stuff they do in sports work out in politics for us? Why can't we get a happy ending like they do in sports? That stuff is weird. Social engineering at its finest. Y'all really care about this stuff. Then y'all got y'all posting these memes with what's his name? Bernie Sanders. Y'all get so sidetracked and distracted with the breads and circuses. The circus could be a dull experience. The bread could be stale, and y'all still get entertained by this BS. Really? Why am I going to waste 4 hours of my life looking at a 60-minute game? You know how I be keeping on things? I just look at the highlights, read an article, and keep it moving. I don't care about, is Patrick Mahomes going to get a second ring? Who cares? But you know the person who founded the Kansas City Chiefs, Lamar Hunt, you know his father was H.L. Hunt, the guy who's connected to not only the Kennedy assassination, JFK, but also MLK assassination. The guy who cut big checks to Elijah Muhammad. Yeah, the Elijah Muhammad Nation of Islam. Malcolm found out about it. You know Malcolm, brother Malcolm. Yeah, our brother, the one we say we love so much, but we don't listen to. We like the idea of a Malcolm, like we like the idea of a Jesus, long as they not breathing and around us. Long as they not here to hold us accountable, we like the idea of them, that they exist. Yeah, that Malcolm, he found out that Elijah Muhammad was getting checks from H.L. Hunt. You know, Dick Gregory talked about how Elijah Muhammad showed him this big check he got from D.C. on my show once upon a time. Let me find this information. Because y'all don't get this anywhere. Because we got to stop this following leaders, man. Y'all just love to be manipulated and told what to do by people because they look like they powerful. They look like leaders. Why don't y'all know who you are? Be the leader of your own destination. You know what I'm saying? Be the captain of your own ship. That's all I'm telling my people. I do this out of love. I'm not trying to make y'all hate nobody. I'm trying to make you love yourself. That's all. I think y'all can hear me talking. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Or maybe y'all saying stuff. I just don't see it. Let me see. Find this information for y'all. Y'all love the question of black man. And I love y'all. I love that y'all quit. Y'all help me step my game up. And I thank y'all because for the most part, we got some good people. We got good people here. Let me see. I found this information, y'all. Thank y'all for the donations and support, man. Y'all keep me going. Thank you for the Cash App, Murder Michael. And a lot of y'all been sending me money through Zelle, Cash App, and all this stuff, buying art, buying shirts. And I want to thank you all for that. But I thank you all by doing this work y'all told me to do. Y'all want to see this? Thank y'all for, I'm glad y'all can hear me. And let me show you this. I'm going to show you this. Because I love y'all enough to tell y'all the truth. Oh, to love black people, to serve black people. Okay, let me put this up. Ain't no audio to share on this, but I'm going to show you why I'm talking. You see that? Let me get out the way. Now, I make the big angle guy because y'all won't hear my audio. I'm going to read it. H.L. Hunt funded the Nation of Islam. Malcolm X vehemently criticized the relationship. And this is coming from the Judas Factor. That's a great book to read. This came out in the early 90s, the Judas Factor by our brother Carl Evans from St. Louis. He at one time worked at the Washington Post. I don't know what he's doing now, but check out the Judas Factor. This book holds up to this day. And let me see. Read this. It says, a past event which gives context to the present concerns of the late H.L. Hunt's financing of the Nation of Islam. Before his assassination, Malcolm X called attention to this, and it was among the reasons for the rupture of relations with the group and his departure from it. Hunt's hatred of black folks and desire to see them repatriated to Africa or worse was the basis for his financial support. Now, mind you, H.L. Hunt is the father of Lamar Hunt, one of the founder of the Kansas City Chiefs and also one of the founders of the American Football League, which was a rival to the NFL and eventually became the AFC. You know, Kansas City Chiefs played in the first Super Bowl in history against the Green Bay Packers. And also, Lamar Hunt and his brothers tried to corner the world's market on silver back in the 70s. They were stopped. They tried to monopolize the world's market on silver. Now, there's a movie called Executive Action, which is based on events surrounding the Kennedy assassination. And Burt Lancaster is the star. He plays a figure inspired by H.L. Hunt. So there's a movie available online you can watch, okay? Divide and Conquer. Hunt's hatred of black folks and desire to see them repatriated to Africa or worse was the basis for his financial support. Divide and Conquer. His granddaughter, Leah Hunt Hendricks, is a financier of the left wing of the Democratic Party, supposedly because she and other like-minded high rollers wish to wean the Democratic Party from the influence of big money. Aside from the consummate irony of this dynamic, it calls to mind the possibility that the real reason for Hunt Hendricks' political generosity is to promote the refractory influence of Bernie, as in Sanders, of course, the notorious AOC, Loca Cortez, and etc. Instead of attempting to unseat the moderate Democrats who recaptured the House of Representatives from the GOP last year. Okay, let me read this section from the Judas Factor. This is by Carl Evans, came out in 92. Y'all need to get that book, The Judas Factor. It still holds up to this day. It really breaks down a lot of stuff that's going on to this day. Let me read what they, let me see. I'm just gonna read this whole thing. They tell you where to find it in the book, pages 284 to 286 in The Judas Factor by Carl Evans. Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X said, had been depositing contributions from his followers in a secret bank account in Switzerland, and his wife had been doing the same in accounts she held in Beirut and Cairo. Although the Nation of Islam received hundreds of thousands of dollars in donations each year, Malcolm X said, the accounting books he examined in the messenger's office revealed that the Nation of Islam was spending far more cash than followers were contributing. When Bradley and Jamal inquired how this was possible, Malcolm X's reply hit them like a bomb shell. There is a Texas millionaire who supports not only Elijah Muhammad, but the Minuteman and the John Birch Society, Malcolm X said. His name is H.L. Hunt. I think he is in oil. Have you ever heard of him? Bradley had, but Jamal had not. Harrelson Lafayette Hunt wasn't just a millionaire. He was a very racist, very right-wing spendthrift who was worth nearly $500 million back in 1960. According to a lawsuit filed against him, he once sold food that was unfit for human consumption, knowing that such sales would end up in Negro and low-income areas. Hunt regarded African Americans as a threat to Caucasian control of American politics, as he made clear in numerous radio broadcasts and interviews. During a radio broadcast in mid-1960, Hunt exposed his abhorrence of African Americans. We are now in an area where whites, however free from racial prejudice, will be forced into the Republican Party by the Negro population, which will help control the National Democratic Party and undoubtedly share or preempt many local offices. So great was his fear of black political power that within days of Kennedy's November 3rd of Nixon, Hunt contacted the Republican National Committee to request that it study why the rural votes went to Kennedy. Alfred Zoll, one of Hunt's chief ideological allies, has since 1936 advocated sending all African Americans back to Africa. Hence, it's not really surprising that he will be interested in financing the Nation of Islam. On October 28, 1960, Hunt, who opposed then Senator JFK's presidential bid because Kennedy was Catholic, admitted to mailing 102,000 copies of an anti-Kennedy leaflet in an effort to win the Democratic nomination for Texas Senator Lyndon B. Johnson. A few days later, he announced that he would support Kennedy's race for the presidency against Vice President Richard M. Nixon. Hunt's decision was unusual given his hatred of Catholics and the fact that he had financed Nixon's bid to gain the vice presidency in 1952 on the Eisenhower ticket. In early 1963, Hunt's commercial corporations were linked to the anti-Semitic Liberty Lobby and the John Birch Society. On November 18, 1963, one of Hunt's sons, Nelson Bunker Hunt, donated money which was used for a rancid anti-Kennedy ad that John Birch Society supporters wanted to run in the Dallas Morning News on November 21st, the day before President Kennedy was scheduled to arrive in Dallas. On November 21st, the day the ad ran, a mafia member from Chicago named Jack Ruby went to H.L. Hunt's office, as did other characters whom history would link with the event that occurred at 12:30 the next day. At 12:23 on November 22nd, H.L. Hunt watched as Kennedy, the man he hated, drove in a motorcade through Daley Plaza. Minutes later, President Kennedy was dead, and Hunt was on his way to a month-long stay in Mexican Hideaway. 3 days later, Ruby killed Lee Harvey Oswald, the man accused of assassinating President Kennedy, and who, for unexplained reasons, had a personnel file at CIA headquarters in Langley. I hope y'all heard what I said. I said what I said, right? So I wasn't even planning on sharing that with you all. It's not about hating people. Look, Marcus Garvey did deals with the Klan back in the 20s. Politics made for strange bedfellows. Malcolm talked about how the Nation of Islam brought land and real estate from the Klan down in Georgia back in the day when he was in the nation. This is their system. You got to deal with them one way or the other. So black folks, grow the hell up. Stop being so immature when it comes to being political. Learn this game. I'm not knocking against Elijah. He in their system. We are in their system. We are guests in their house. Even though we helped build this house, we're still guests in their house. Maybe unwanted guests, but we are guests. So you got to understand what they do. So I'm not going to get into this. Well, because I had H.L. Hunt, he also was connected to the King assassination. Now read Dr. William Pepper's and Plot to Kill King to find out the state machinations behind the King assassination. But Donald Trump is like King. Donald Trump was against war. When the last time you could think of any president that kept us out of getting any major more wars, getting any more entanglements in terms of war? He was a deal maker and a peacemaker. He tried to make deals with people, like he was playing his reality TV show, The Apprentice. So I got to say, and then I'm gonna tell y'all something. Black people, all white people racist. Stop it with this. Well, I don't know if he's racist. They ain't the right question. The question you want to know are they white supremacists? Because you got black folks that's white. All white people racist. They have nothing to do with hate. It's just about privilege and access and leverage because it's their system. Stop it with the BS. I was conceived and born during the Carter administration. But Donald Trump is the most honest president of my lifetime. And when you try to tell the truth to people, they label you as weak or a liar. It did that with Carter too. He tried to be honest with the American people. A lot of y'all don't want to deal with truth. Y'all still talking about fantasy football. Y'all rather talk about fantasy football than black liberation. Yeah, I already talked about Super Bowl than black liberation. About what the Brooklyn Nets ain't doing right instead of what we need to be doing for black liberation. I can't take majority of you black people seriously. So it don't bother me when y'all try to call me out or ridicule me because y'all keep, well, you die for Trump. No, Negro, you gonna die for Biden. I'm like, hey, look, I like Trump. Actually, he's the greatest president, one of the all-time greats based on what he's going through and what he's trying to do. But I'm not dying for Trump. I'm not, dying for white people's right to rule over me. Forget all that. We've been doing that for generations. Join their military. Never get what we supposed to get. Always joining their wars. They always put our needs second, third, fourth, fifth, anything but first. So we put our own selves down. You live for them, but you won't live for yourself. Enough is enough. So now a lot of y'all gonna die for Biden, whether you want to or not. That's why, like Baba Dick Greg could be my ear, brother Ron. Please remind them, get your rest, get your exercise, and drink your damn water. I don't care. Put some lemon in there. A lot of y'all can't put. I don't care what. Look, green tea, black tea. Put honey in there. Put lemon. Use lemon to get through that water thing. I love water. I drink a whole bunch of water. I'm a big dude. And what's interesting is like they talk about this thing about being fat and fit. I'm a big guy, but I tell you this, I can run 6 miles and change in an hour. I can run over 6 miles easily. And I don't tire. And I wear them horrible masks. Cause I go to the gym and we can't take out our masks. So I load up on electrolytes and water. And I run that 6 miles plus for a whole hour without stopping my treadmill. And if you can't believe that, you come join me and work out and see who lasts. Because a lot of y'all, half my size, can't get through 3 miles, let alone 6 miles. And I'm going to start talking about what I do, the supplements I take and stuff like that. I take a whole bunch of vitamins and supplements every day, like I'm a 65-year-old person on Medicaid. But it works. I have not gotten sick. I deal in environments where people are, they be susceptible to like COVID type stuff, and I don't get sick. Last time I've been sick really was the weekend that Kobe died. That was back in January 25th of 2020. And I've been standing upright, been going strong because I'm a one-man movement. You know what I'm saying? To endure what I got to endure dealing with our people, I got to keep a strong immune system. I got to keep a strong immune system because it's tough out here, man. There's no love for a black man. Black man, take better care of yourself. Create a love story, create a self-love story, black people. But yeah, I'm 30 minutes in, right? Let's talk about American Skin. American Skin by Nate Parker, right? I saw it on Apple TV. Actually had a hard time trying to find it on Amazon Prime. But I think the thing was I was kind of thrown off by the cover. I didn't know that was actually the Nate Parker movie. That cover, like he was Andre 3000 on somebody's soundtrack or something. But I did the Apple TV thing. I watched it. It was slow starting off. I know it showed you the police, pulling them over, him and his son, but it kind of started off slow because I guess they want to build up the background story. Because Nate Parker is a storyteller. I would say this: Nate Parker knows what he's doing with the movies, right? He's gifted, and they stole it. He should have won a whole bunch of Oscars for The Birth of a Nation, but they stole it from him because I guess the subject matter he was dealing with. And Nate Parker, he's a G. Because even for this movie, I got to give him his props for doing this movie, for not letting them destroy him, by him standing as a man. Because black masculinity matters in telling our stories and being men. So the movie talks about his relationship with his son. He loves his son. He's a veteran from Iraq. I guess he was a part of the Iraqi war. So he's dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. But he has this son that he loves fully. Just got through going through a divorce with the son's mother. So the son lives with him. He makes sure that he goes to a great school to get a great education because he works as the janitor, as the building engineer, the janitor at the school. So his son was able to get free tuition going to that expensive white people school, the PWI, predominantly white institution. So his son is very, very intelligent. He what y'all be calling them crystal kids, or that term y'all call them kids. These kids now, they very, very woke. Like they got old souls and all this stuff. You know what I'm talking about. I can't think about it now. But anyway, his son is very, very intellectually curious. He got a lot of knowledge of self. He's happy and proud to be a black person. You could tell in his room, all these posters of Malcolm X and other people. He got a lot of black pride and a lot of consciousness. He's very woke. And his son did something. Like he really, I think his son would have been a great lawyer, a great civil rights lawyer. He really studied the law. But you know, the thing about the law, this is the white man's law, right? You gotta go back to Dred Scott. Dred Scott was told by the Supreme Court Chief Justice at the time, Roger Taney, excuse me, in his decision that you nor your descendants have any rights that the white man is bound to respect by law, meaning that we don't see you as our equal, let alone citizens under our law. Even your intellectual property does not belong to you. So you dealing with we the descendants of Dred Scott, black people. We are the descendants of Dred Scott, who's ironically buried right outside of Ferguson in St. Louis, Missouri. I don't call it Missouri or Missouri. I call it misery, the state of misery, and for good damn reason. But Dred Scott was told by the highest court in the land that you nor your descendants have any rights that the white man is bound to respect by law. But his son thought that you still could utilize the law for black people to have protection under said law, that you have a right to self-defense, to self-preservation. That's really the law of nature, self-preservation. But unfortunately, our people don't practice this. We think the law, first law of nature is to forgive the enemy that destroys you and your people. Wow. So anyway, let me read a quote. Thank you, Sister Monica, for your donation, and for everybody else who's been donating over the last several days. I appreciate it. We love you madly. But let me read this quote, because like people say, why he named himself Lincoln Jefferson? I'm gonna tell you why. It's brilliant that he was named Lincoln Jefferson. Yeah, I know about the indigo children. Star seeds. They're called star seeds. I know about indigo. I know about crystal children, but they call these folks star seeds because they the old soul folks. They're not here to conform to the system. They are here to change things and shake things up. Like Dr. King said that the human salvation lies in the hands of the creatively maladjusted. See, what messes us up as black people is the reason why we don't get the respect, because we teach our kids to submit to evil and wickedness and filth and thuggery. We teach our children to submit to folks that disrespect us, that don't do right by us. And you wonder why your kids keep on getting killed by the police. You wonder why we kill each other, because we teach each other to respect the filth of this system. Now, the star seeds are here to shake it up, to change things, to get justice for the righteous ancestors. See, these dead folks, y'all think they dead. They not dead. They talk to me every day. Like I said, I don't miss Dick Gregory like y'all do. Dick be talking to me every day. He remind these folks, run, drink their water, get their exercise, and sleep, rest. So, like the ancestors told me, Ron, if you tell our stories, we'll take care of you. And through y'all, they are helping me getting taken care of. So I have no fear. But what I'm saying is, yeah, we raise our children wrong. We tell them to submit to evil, and we wonder why we can't get no justice. And y'all say yourself, no justice, no peace. You can't get no peace because you keep on telling your children to submit to the evilness, to the wickedness. So his son had enough sense, no, Dad, this ain't right how they treat our people. Even though his father served this country honorably, he treated like he's a nobody, like he's a bum. The only job he could get is as a damn janitor. And he served this country. You understand? So I gotta be careful, because people get complaints about me talking loud and shit. And even though it's not quiet time yet, people got it's people weird. They can't talk to me. I'm very accessible, but they wanna rat on me. Brother Ron talking this rhetoric. I just can't get no sleep. Mr. Lane, you want attention so bad. You sound silly because you begging for my attention. I don't really normally address you, but I think I be reading your comments. I laugh to myself. You a slacky and lackey for the damn Democratic Party. And I let you speak your mind because I think it's foolery. Because we need to heighten the contradictions. You need to get a clue. I don't know if you a real person. I don't know you work at the Pentagon or the NSA or CIA, but you really got a thing for We All Be TV. You don't tell me what to do, man. I provided content for you to intellectually masturbate to. You are intellectually masturbating on my content. So respect the channel, respect the host, respect the manifest. And this is the last time I'm gonna address you. Cause you a joke. Y'all clowns, man. Y'all don't want to deal with the truth, man. Some of y'all got children and grandchildren look to y'all. And a lot of y'all just fools. Y'all living in what Sam Cook called a fool's paradise. Y'all living a fools, and y'all deserve to inherit the win. Because y'all a bunch of fools, you deserve to inherit nothing. You inherit nothing. But yet, Master Biden, Lord, anybody but Trump, Jesus. Anybody but Trump. Anybody that can rate me but Trump. Please. Silly Negroes, take out writing books and novels and Kindle books online. Last time I'm going to acknowledge you, ma'am. Come on the show and let's debate. Cause I want to fry you. I want to know if you real. Elaine Lane. Are you really a black woman? Who are you? Elaine Lane. Come on the show. I'm tired of you cowards hiding behind avatars and fake accounts. I'm out here putting my life on the line. You know what I look like. Know everything about me. I know you know more about me than I know about you. Tell me what to do. Okay, let me read this quote because his name was Lincoln Jefferson, right? The Nate Parker character. And so I want to read this quote from Abraham Lincoln that fits the why he's hiding in the contradiction with the name. You got a guy who allegedly freed the slaves in Lincoln. Then you got a guy that kept the black folks enslaved in Jefferson. So this is a quote from Lincoln. A house divided against itself cannot stand. I believe this government cannot endure permanently half slave and half free. I do not expect the union to be dissolved. I do not expect the house to fail, but I do expect it will cease to be divided. It will become all one thing or all the other. So what he was doing with that name of Lincoln Jefferson, he was hiking the contradictions so you can understand, wow, this is crazy. You can't be half slave and half free. So he's talking about the plight of black people in this system, being half slave and half free. Lane Lane's probably an agent for the government. She's probably a agent provocateur. Cause she ain't no. You can find my phone number, my email address. I'm not hiding behind anything. This woman come on my thing, write these long manifestos to nothingness, to foolishness. And woman, you don't run nothing. I don't even know you're a woman. You could be a man. You could be a transgender for all I know. I don't know what the hell you are. You could be a bot. You could be a CNN bot, a black lesbian Marxist bot. I don't know what the hell you are. But I'm not that hard to find. So we could debate on air. And that's it. Other than that, I'm not going to acknowledge you anymore. You're a zero. Okay? Anyway, you can still comment, but I'm going to acknowledge you anymore. I think it's hilarious. And I like when people say, well, Brother Ron, you shouldn't respond back. Well, nigga, you shouldn't be listening to me. Why are you listening to me? You don't tell me what to do. I'm a grown man. I don't live at home. I live by myself. Grown man. You can tell me what to do. Well, you shouldn't respond back, Brother Ron, because that just intensify everything. We should all, I don't want to be with everybody. Every black person, skin folk and kin folk and friend folk. I ain't trying to unify all you niggas. I want the right ones to get the message. It's like when people tell me, well, I don't understand what you said. It wasn't for you. If you couldn't receive it, it wasn't meant for you. Many are called, but few are chosen. Trolling. But anyway, let's get back to the movie. Now, it started slow, but it started picking up after, they found out that the devil that killed his son, because his son was holding a cell phone, walked free. He got away with it. So that's when everything started kicking in with a documentary filmmaker. He selected to document the whole process. And I like what Nate Parker did. He really tapped into the zeitgeist of the times with this film. And trial by a jury of your peers, all that stuff. He exposed it all. And I appreciate him for that. I didn't really care for the ending. I thought the ending, man, I didn't like the ending, but it could not end any way but like that. Because to go back to Dred Scott, we have no rights that the white man is bound to respect by law. And Nate Parker knew what he was doing, what Huey P. Newton would call revolutionary suicide. It's called revolutionary suicide. to live, fight, and die for the people, to sacrifice yourself for the greater good. That was Nate Parker, his character Lincoln Jefferson, was doing in that movie. He knew that he was going to lose his life. He lost his son's life. And what these bastards do, they not only kill you, they kill your legacy. And black folks, we so afraid to acknowledge when people have fought the right fight because we're afraid what white folks going to think about it. We scared to acknowledge Nat Turner, another person Nate Parker played, because what do white folks think about Nat Turner? I don't want to offend white people. I don't want to offend white people. See, Hollywood is making it okay for y'all to even acknowledge Fred Hampton Sr. right now. Oh, if Hollywood like Fred Hampton Sr., I guess he's okay. Y'all gotta get the white okay to acknowledge our own heroes. Like Dr. Randy Short would say, we love our traitors, but we hate our heroes. I say we love our traitors, but we hate our heroes. So it's time for us to reclaim the narrative in this time of confusion. So my thing to y'all is to go check out American Skin. It's worth checking out. Have discussions about it. But my thing about black people, we are some of the biggest movie goers on the planet because we want to escape from our reality. We don't want to deal with the actual reality of things. I remember when I saw the trailer for American Skin and how a lot of black people say, oh man, this is great, man. This is revenge. Nah, man, it ain't revenge. That's a movie. It's a fantasy. Y'all afraid to fight and die for what y'all believe in or what y'all should believe in. We are afraid to bleed for liberation, but we'll bleed for a white man's war. We'll bleed for a white man's cause. We'll bleed for a white man that we love to be in a certain White House, but we won't bleed for no type of self-determination, for self-liberation, self-definement. We don't bleed for those things. We don't know what we really want as black people. That's why we don't have no tangible. We don't know what we really want as a people. We lack a code. Y'all keep on talking about stay on code. What, stay divisive? Is that the code? To stay divisive and ineffective? Is that the real code we talking about, black people? To stay at each other's throats, divide and conquer? To stay this lackadaisical? That's why some of the best soldiers in the military are black people, because we love to be told what to do by white zaddy. We want white zaddy to tell us when to eat, sleep, and shit, and fight and die. Okay? You know, would I move to Africa? No. Africa is here. Like the great Dr. Randy Weston told me, America is Africa. My people bled for this country. I'm indigenous to this country. This is my country. Turtle Island is ours, black people. White folks don't want to need to leave. If anybody gonna leave, who put more sweat, blood, equity into America more than black people? Nobody. Nobody. Who was the first commodities traded on Wall Street? Black people. So no, I'm not leaving a place where my folks put their blood, sweat, tears, and years and decades, and we built this damn thing. I don't want to hear about no immigrant story right now. It's BS. You folks be for everybody but black people. If black folks is used as foundation for everybody's success, their American dream. You celebrate their American dream where they allow us to stay in the damn American nightmare. And y'all okay with that? And you got the nerve to have children. Y'all got the nerve to talk about COVID deaths when all these folks killing kids through abortion every week. Where is the memorial for babies, black babies killed by abortion since at least 1973? Where is that memorial at? More black babies were killed than all the white black soldiers in Vietnam, the Civil War, World War II, all the American wars. This is the real American war. The genocide war, the genocide game. Let's make it a reality TV show. Let's make it a blood sport. Because you Negroes love reality TV and sports. I don't understand. If I survive 2020, I'm not thinking about LeBron James and Steph Curry and James Harden and the NFL. I'm not thinking about them. I'm thinking about, man, what can I do to take better care of myself and my family? What can I do to put myself and my people in a position to actually win some tangibles, to get something instead of all this back? Don't y'all know? Okay, some of you Chuck and Pearls, y'all got the White House, y'all got the House and Senate. Now tell me why we can't get no reparations within 2 years. Give me a reason y'all gonna bail out the Democrats, the Dixiecrats, like I do Obama. Give me a reason, black people. Y'all fools. Y'all could tell me, well, Antonio Brown need to do this, LeBron need to do that. But what can we do as black people to get some justice? I don't know, man. But I can tell you what Patrick Mahomes and them need to do to get back to the Super Bowl. You Negro, you want to talk to a black man, get a black man passionate, talk about food, sex, and sports. All black men get passionate about is food, sex, and sports. Talk about that BS. What about your kids' education? Man, I don't know what to do about that, but how about them Cowboys, nigga? How about them Cowboys? We lost, man. We lost. I guess we have better luck next time. Man, Jerry need to fire McCarthy. He might want to get Sean Payton. There's some coon Negroes. A coon catastrophe. A coon catastrophe. Look at the movie American Scam. And y'all keep on forgetting, I'm from Memphis, man. If Dick Gregory lived long enough, I would have been cursing his ass out and then calling his monkey ass back and saying, how's the family? But I had respect for my elder. He was like my drill sergeant, shock troop training, man, to deal with this BS now. And folks, they brag on Dick Gregory not cursing them out. I said, maybe Dick Gregory should have cursed your monkey ass out. You might be doing better right now. Because, God's favorites always have a tough time. You understand? God's favorites always have a tough time. I've been bullied all my life by white, black people, by institutions. So after 40 years, I'm going to push back, me and Memphis. I'm pushing back. Y'all thought y'all were going to break me. It just made me, man. This is my season. This is the run, guys. I'm pushing back, player. So I'll be nice on y'all in them comments, man. I could go hard. I could say, well, your mama like my child. Your mama like me. Your mama like my horn playing. She said, I like how you play. Why don't you blow it on me, my nigga? So I can say stupid stuff like that, but I'm going to say it because I want to. But let's talk about some serious stuff. Go look at the movie American Scam. Have your own opinion about it. But let me put this stuff in historical context. And then I'm going to wrap it up. See, people say, well, black folks, man, we can only get justice in movies, right? No, you have black folks that fought back, but they don't talk about those stories. All right? Let's talk about a man named Robert Charles down in New Orleans. The Robert Charles riots of 1900 down in New Orleans from July 23rd to July 27, 1900. I'm going to play a little short clip, and you think what you want to think. It's something I did several years ago. But let me educate you about Robert Charles. And then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more, and then we'll shut this down. Thank y'all for being patient, for listening. Yeah, Robert Charles was actually from Mississippi too. And he raised, they did a song called The Ballot of Robert Charles to talk about his exploits, but they forgot about it because it made white folks mad, according to Jill Rowe Morton. Y'all always concerned about what white folks think about our real hero. Robert Charles was a hero. It's a book called The Carnival of Fury, written by a professor named William Ivy Hare. It gives you a great account of the Robert Charles riots of 1900. This man took on the police, killed several police officers. One man machine. You talking about Michael Johnson and Gavin Long. This man was before Gavin Long and Michael Johnson, when black folks were getting lynched like every day or day and a half in this country. So let me play that. And we'll get on to the rest of the show. I'm trying to find it. Got it listed. But thank y'all for being patient. It's a lot to process right now. I don't care about Negroes fighting each other because the real enemy is not my brother who's confused. Just stay out my way though. But you confused. I'm gonna run you over like Jim Brown was running over people for the Cleveland Browns back in the day. Just stay out my way, player. So let's get this going. And we'll come right back. And we'll stay right black. We all be.
The Ballot of Robert Charles. Robert Charles was a proud black native Mississippian who went to live in New Orleans around the dawn of the 20th century. Mr. Charles was self-educated, highly intelligent, and very well read. He followed the teachings of the controversial and radical black leader, Pan-Africanist Bishop Henry M. Turner. Bishop Henry M. Turner, a native of Georgia, USA, preached that blacks should defend themselves with guns against the Ku Klux Klan and other white racist institutions that sought to destroy and kill black people in the United States. Being a man of religion and action, Turner also urged blacks to start seeing God, the benevolent and merciful one, in their own image instead of in the popular image of the oppressors, which belittled their humanity and labeled them inferior. Robert Charles also felt that black people should consider returning to their ancestral homeland of Africa, in particular, the nation of Liberia, which was founded by former black U.S. slaves in 1822 to escape from the white supremacist power structure in the United States of America. Mr. Charles was also a sales agent for Bishop Turner's magazine, Voice of Missions, which talked about some of the previously mission beliefs in exact full detail and analysis. In 1896, Robert Charles joined the International Migration Society, a group which advocated sending black Americans to Liberia. Mr. Charles honestly felt that no black person would ever receive full treatment and justice as a citizen and human being in a country where the violent lynching of a black person took place every day. This country was also the same place where blacks were not even allowed to vote or receive equal treatment and protection under the law. The Plessy versus Ferguson ruling of 1896 by the U.S. Supreme Court had legalized segregation, or separate but equal. This, in theory, meant that blacks were allowed to be treated separately but as equals of whites. However, in reality and practice, this meant that blacks were forced by law to endure harsher, more unfair, and inferior treatment by whites. One day, Robert Charles became infuriated after hearing, or rather reading, the grisly news of the fate of a black man in the Atlanta, Georgia area named Sam Hose. Hose was ruthlessly lynched by a large white mob for killing his white boss in self-defense and allegedly raping his boss's white wife. The rape allegation later proved to be false, as Mr. Hose was nowhere near the house at the time the alleged rape took place. He was actually arguing with his boss about pay that was owed to him. And he was also responsible, Mr. Hose, for taking care of his ailing grandmother and his mentally retarded brother. The lynching of Sam Hose, by all accounts, was very gruesome and traumatic. Mr. Hose's nose, ears, toes, fingers, genitals, and tongue were all cut off while he was alive, causing him great, excruciating pain. He also was skinned alive, doused with kerosene, and set ablaze while tied to a tree. Hose's mutilated body parts and postcards of the tragic events were later sold at stores, picnics, and other functions throughout the Atlanta area. This horrible and tragic event, as well as its aftermath, troubled and inspired the great human rights activist and social scientist, Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, a professor at Atlanta University at the time of the lynching. Du Bois started to take and engage in a more proactive, progressive, and demonstrative stance on equal rights for blacks
YouTuber. Get money for your work immediately. Express payments for media.
Eventually led to the formation of the NAACP and to the modern American civil rights movement. However, for Robert Charles, an expert marksman and gun owner, the sickening ghoulish affair meant getting revenge, paid for in blood. On July 23rd, 1900, a hot and steamy night in New Orleans, Robert Charles and his friend, as well as roommates, were confronted by aggressive and racist cops on the suspicion of being suspicious. While waiting for his girlfriend and her female companion on the steps of their residence. After being physically assaulted by the cops, Robert Charles drew his gun in self-defense and fired at the two cops. Later, one of the officers, Officer August Mora, admitted that he did draw his gun first. Charles was injured in the leg after being hit with return fire. He escaped police custody, and for several days in July 1900, New Orleans erupted in thunderous riots and chaos. The New Orleans Riot of 1900 was one of the worst in American history. The black section of New Orleans was decimated by a large and furious white citizen mob. Many innocent blacks were killed, including white folks that looked at blacks. Estimates stated that as many as 5,000 to 10,000 whites from different parts of Louisiana, as well as from several states including Texas, Alabama, and Mississippi, took part in the melee. Eventually, Robert Charles made his last stand on Friday afternoon, July 27, 1900. Before Charles was taken out by a 19-year-old medical student at 1208 Saratoga Street in New Orleans, he made sure his Winchester rifle did a lot of talking. Of the 50 rounds that Charles shot, 27 found a human target. In all, Charles killed 7 white people, including 4 police officers. After Robert Charles was killed, the white mob proceeded to fill Robert Charles' lifeless corpse with bullets, 37 in all, and to beat and stomp him beyond recognition. His body was later taken away by a patrol wagon for autopsy. Charles was buried early Sunday morning on July 29, 1900, in an unmarked grave at Host Cemetery, the same place where jazz legend Buddy Bolden is buried, to prevent the white mob from re-lynching and mutilating the body for souvenirs and sale items. Later, jazz and blues musicians paid tribute to Robert Charles and his heroic stand by playing a song entitled The Ballot of Robert Charles, a song which cemented Robert Charles' place as a black folk hero for many in the black community. Unfortunately, the song is lost to posterity because, according to jazz great General Morton, many musicians forgot the song due to fear of retaliation from white patrons and white people in general. Many whites, as well as some blacks, were eager to forget and not address the causes and effects of that particularly sad episode in American history.
That's history that should be better known. The Robert Charles riots, New Orleans riots of 1900. Now, it was a black man that snitched on the whereabouts of Robert Charles. A black man that told the white folks where he was located. That's how they found him at their house at 1208 Saratoga Street. And the community took care of that bastard. They took care of him. They killed him. A man killed that man for snitching out or ratting out on Robert Charles. So that's a code. He stood on code. They killed that man. Black people down in New Orleans loved Robert Charles. He was a folk hero. Like I said, the jazz musicians made songs about Robert Charles. So the thing about it is that black people stop living in fantasy land. We are at war in terms of, for the right just to exist. To exist is an act of war for this system for us. And like I go in on the trolls every now and then, that like you go in on me. I don't take it personal. I don't know most of y'all. They follow me. But y'all know more about me than I do about y'all. Y'all see me out and about, or y'all recognize my voice or face, whatever. I don't know who y'all are. Y'all call me. Sometimes y'all call me like at 5 o'clock in the morning, something like we relatives or something. So it's interesting that people think that they shouldn't be criticized when I'm out here in the arena getting criticized, and it comes with the territory. Like Brother Malcolm, to paraphrase what Brother Malcolm X say, without critic, you won't have success. Let's see. Yeah, they gonna only get us with us selling each other out. You gotta understand, the only way they got Marcus Garvey is by black folks selling him out. I remember Dick Gregory was saying something about, the first black FBI agent, Agent 800, James Wormley Jones, was hired by Hoover to neutralize Marcus Garvey. I remember Dick Gregory was saying that Queen Mother Moore, our beloved Queen Mother Moore, helped the government get Marcus Garvey. People don't want to talk about that, but Dick is on tape several times talking about, he said Queen Mother Moore was an informant. She helped get Marcus Garvey. Because, she was from Louisiana. Marcus Garvey's greatest support in America was Louisiana. Like one of his rivals, a person named Reverend James Eason, he was assassinated at the Black House because he's supposed to have been turning state evidence or becoming an informant against Marcus Garvey for the federal government. He got assassinated down in the Black House back in the early 1920s in New Orleans. So, but let me move on to something more recent, because I talked about Charles Cookie Thornton on the last podcast, and I just want to educate y'all about who Charles Lee Cookie Thornton was. He was a black man who could not take it anymore in the city of Kirkwood. He was being bullied by the government of Kirkwood, Missouri, outside of St. Louis, and he took matters into his own hands on February 7th, 2008. Let me play some news clips from that and also read something about, Charles Cookie Thornton. So y'all getting this education. Like, I ain't gonna talk about, all this BS that everybody else be talking about. And like I said, I back up all my videos just in case. So let me educate y'all about Charles Cookie Thornton. And this is We All Be Newsfree Dixie for the 21st century. So I'm gonna play y'all a clip about the 10-year anniversary of what happened in Kirkwood at the City Hall. This happened on February 7, 2008. So this clip is from February 2018. Let's play this.
Tomorrow marks 10 years since the Kirkwood City Hall shooting. 7 people, including the gunman, Charles Cookie Thornton, died in that horrific attack.
5 on your side's Daniel Wynn was in Kirkwood today as the city prepares to remember those lost. And Daniel, you spoke with a council member who went to high school with Thornton, right?
Yeah, that's right. Paul Ward has been a council member for several years. He is now the deputy mayor. He wasn't in the council chambers the night of the shooting, but knew pretty much everyone in the room, including the gunman.
My son called me. He was driving by City Hall and he says, "Dad, there's police cars from all over at City Hall. Something's going on."
And that is how Deputy Mayor Paul Ward first heard the news there had been a shooting at City Hall. His first instinct was to call his friend to see if he was okay.
So I tried to call Mike Lynch, who was a good friend of mine, and we had gone on council together. And of course, he was dead.
Little did he know several others were dead too. Charles Cookie Thornton had gone to the meeting upset. He was upset over fines he'd gotten for parking construction equipment on the street.
It was gut-wrenching to think that this could happen. So, you know, I just wanted to get to whoever was a survivor.
But City Hall was closed off. Word tells me he went to the hospital that night to comfort family members who had lost loved ones.
You can't explain exactly how you feel. You feel sorrow, you feel some anger, you know, that idea of why did this happen creeps in there.
In all, Thornton shot and killed 5 city officials and wounded the mayor, who later died. Word tells me he knew Thornton and even went to high school with him.
Good people. I mean, he came from a good family. Everyone loved him. Most of the council considered Cookie a friend.
Word tells me Kirkwood has recovered over the years, the past 10 years. He says it's still the tight-knit community it always was.
All right, Daniel, thank you. And the victims of the Kirkwood City Hall.
That's Charles Lee Cookie Thornton's story. He was a black man who was messed over by the government, by the city government, and he just had this breaking point. Like, there's a movie y'all should look at called Ragtime. It's a great movie called Ragtime, starring Howard Rollins from A Soldier Story and from the Heat in the Night series. He plays a black man who was messed over by the government. Like, you know, he had a nice, I think it was a Model T, and the fire department, the white fire department, destroyed his Model T for it. They, you know, put feces and everything in his vehicle. So he tried to redress the grievance through the protocols of the government, and everybody kept on saying, well, you know, go over here, go over there. And then nothing ever happened. And then his fiance, Debbie Allen, and Howard Rollins was a ragtime piano player in the movie. He was a ragtime musician because ragtime was the popular music at the time. It's back in the 19-teens. So she called herself trying to help her husband by trying to meet with the president of the United States at a train stop. And she got brutally beaten by the Secret Service. And so that was the last straw. So he ended up kidnapping the fire department with help from his friends. And I believe James Cagney, James Cagney played the police commissioner. I think this was his last film before he died that he did, called Ragtime. So that's another movie y'all should check out. You should check out American Skin and check out the movie Ragtime. But I'm gonna play something from Charles Lee Cookie Thornton. His nickname was Cookie. So how can a man named Cookie be so vicious? Was he really a killer like that? But let me play something from his brother and other people who weighed in on the thing. We all be news free Dixie for the 21st century.
While a makeshift memorial is growing outside, new details are emerging about the deadly shooting rampage inside Kirkwood City Hall. Police say Charles Lee Cookie Thornton stormed into a city council meeting Thursday night and opened fire.
The meeting had just started and everyone had just did the Pledge of Allegiance. And we were sitting down and I heard a shout from the back of the room and I recognized it as Cookie Charles Thornton's voice. And I had heard him yell something about a gun.
2 police officers, the city public works director, and 2 council members were killed. The city's mayor and a newspaper reporter were wounded before officers shot and killed Thornton.
The thing that I feel most bad is the people that didn't make it, and there was no reason for that. I mean, just seeing him shoot someone without regard, it's just that shouldn't happen in this world.
Friends and relatives said Thornton had a long-standing feud with city officials. Just 10 days ago, he lost a federal free speech lawsuit against the St. Louis suburb. And he'd previously received 150 tickets against his demolition and asphalt business. Gerald Thornton says the legal setback may have been his brother's final straw.
It led him to believe that he only had the actions of declaring war against the persons that were causing this strife in his life.
Thornton left a suicide note on his bed, which read, "The truth will come out in the end." His family believes the note reflects the brother's growing frustration with local leaders. But Arthur Thornton said his older brother wasn't a violent man.
He's not a mean man. He's a loving man. And this was a violent act. It's not Cookie.
And Arthur Thornton offered condolences on behalf of his family.
That I am truly truly sorry. You know, it's a very sad event.
Missouri's governor has ordered all flags at state facilities in St. Louis County to be flown at half staff to honor the victims. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
All right, thank you. That's Charles Lee Cookie Thornton. That happened February 7, 2008. And also, like somebody said, Edward G. Robinson was dead. He died in 1973. Ragtime came out in 1981. Pat O'Brien was in Ragtime, but James Cadney was the police commissioner. You know, people love to try to correct a black man. When a white man can tell you lies, like, you know, all day long, y'all don't say nothing. It's like if I was a white supervisor working with an all black crew, they will never question my judgment on anything. That's how, you know, we tell them we love Jesus. If Jesus looked like one of us, we wouldn't care for Jesus. That's why we don't care. But anyway, Charles Cookie Thornton, interesting fellow. Let me read this stuff about him. And y'all make your own conclusions, right? Put up a picture of Brother Cookie. But he's the crazy one, right? They gave this man 150 tickets that he could never pay off. He was constantly going to court trying to get his grievances heard. They were picking on Cookie. They knew him by name. The city hall people and the mayor, they all knew who he was. They just disrespect the man. I'm not saying that was right what he did, but I can understand. I can understand as a black man how people disrespect a black man all day long. Enough is enough. But let's read about Cookie. Looky, looky, looky. Here comes Cookie. The man nicknamed Cookie, man. Come on, y'all. Look at that smile. The Kirkwood City Council shooting occurred on Thursday, February 7, 2008 in Kirkwood, Missouri, United States, a suburb of St. Louis, Missouri, in St. Louis County. A gunman went on a shooting rampage at a public meeting in the city hall, leaving 6 people dead and 2 others injured. Charles Lee Cookie Thornton, 52, shot one police officer with a revolver across the side street from City Hall and took the officer's handgun before entering City Hall. Thornton reached council chambers with these 2 pistols shortly after the meeting began. There he shot a police officer, the public works director, 2 council members, the mayor, and a reporter. In total, the gunman killed 5 and wounded 2 others. One of the 2 wounded victims, the mayor, later died. The gunman was then shot and killed by police. I hope y'all can hear me. I think y'all can hear me. I think everything all right. Okay. More of the story. The day of the shooting, right? Thornton parked his van on the side street near Kirkwood City Hall and saw Kirkwood Police Sergeant William Biggs, who was on duty but walking to pick up dinner nearby, in a parking lot across the City Hall, or in a parking lot across the side street from City Hall. Thornton confronted Biggs and shot him with a Smith & Wesson Model 29 .44 Magnum revolver, killing him instantly. Before Thornton fired, Biggs had hit a distress signal on his radio to summon additional police officers. Thornton took Biggs' Smith & Wesson .40 caliber handgun and went inside City Hall. There in the city council chambers, the Pledge of Allegiance had just been recited, and the mayor was starting the city council meeting with 30 people attending. Thornton entered the room quietly from the back with both of his weapons concealed, but soon got close to his attendant victims. He first fatally shot Kirkwood police officer Tom Ballman in the head and continued shooting other victims at close range while reportedly repeating the phrase, "Shoot the mayor." He fatally shot council members Connie Carr and Michael H.T. Lynch and Public Works Director Ken Yost. He shot Mayor Mike Swoboda twice in the head and left him for dead. Witnesses reported about 15 gunshots. Ignoring the 4 other council members, Thornton chased City Attorney John Hessel, who slowed Thornton by throwing chairs at him until escaping from the room. All of this gunfire was audible at the Kirkwood Police Department building, located across a small parking lot from the rear entrance to City Hall. 2 Kirkwood police officers rushed to the council chambers. There, Thornton fired on them from behind a desk, The officers returned fire. Thornton, who still had rounds left, sustained 2 gunshot wounds and died at the scene. In total, Thornton killed 5 people and wounded 2. Mayor Mike Swoboda was taken to St. John's Mercy Medical Center in critical condition. The mayor was shot in the lower jaw with the bullet exiting from his cheek and was also shot in the back of his head. He underwent surgery on February 7th and again on February the 8th, the latter surgery lasting 3 hours. Mayor Swoboda's condition was upgraded after a few days to serious and after 2 weeks to satisfactory. Since then, he had begun eating soft food and talking. His family said that he had no memory of the shootings. He would need reconstructive surgery for his face. Other long-term health effects were unknown. On April 18th, Swoboda returned to City Hall to briefly address the last city council meeting before the expiration of his second and, due to term limits, final term as mayor. Swoboda died on the morning of September the 6th, 2008, in a hospice he had entered a week earlier. A reporter for the local suburban journals, Todd Smith, was also injured. He was shot in the hand and was released from the hospital within 24 hours. There's a lot here about Cookie. There's a lot to process, man. But I guess read some stuff. He lived in Meacham Park, an unincorporated, predominantly African American community that bordered Kirkwood in St. Louis County. In 1992, a ballot proposition appeared under which Kirkwood, an abutting, comparatively prosperous city with only a small percentage of African American residents, would annex the low-income Meacham Park area. Can y'all say gentrification war? Gentrification war. After spirited debate and campaigning, residents of both Meacham Park and Kirkwood approved the annexation. Upon annexation, the municipal codes of Kirkwood became the law for Meacham Park, which had previously lacked municipal codes due to its unincorporated status. During the 1990s, Thornton was active in a number of civic and charitable organizations in Kirkwood. He ran for Kirkwood City Council in 1994 unsuccessfully. Via eminent domain, part of the Meacham Park area was taken for a large commercial development in the late 1990s in a tax increment financing project. Thornton, who foresaw that his construction company, he was a black business owner, would get contracts in this development, was a public proponent of it, in this respect, opposing the views of some of the others in Meacham Park. Remember, Meacham Park was predominantly black, unincorporated, but he was a businessman. Now let's talk about his legal and financial troubles. He sought and received some work for his construction company during this commercial development. Family members and friends have said that he became resentful over having gotten less than he felt he had been promised. In 1990, Thornton filed a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission alleging racial discrimination in the awarding of contracts he had wanted. Marge Stram, who was mayor at the time the contracts were bid, has said that contracts were awarded by the developers, not the city, and that the city had not promised contracts to Thornton. It has been reported that he had never actually bid on the contracts. In 1996, Thornton had begun receiving citations from Kirkwood for violation of city codes. In June 1998, he pleaded guilty to 6 violations and agreed to a 5-phase plan to bring his property and his paving business into conformance with city codes within 2 years. However, this plan was not fulfilled, and Thornton began to leave new tickets unpaid. By late 2001, Thornton had been cited many dozen more times by Kirkwood officials under municipal code enforcement actions for operating an unlicensed business from his home in a, since the 1992 annexation, residentially zoned incorporated area, illegal dumping, destruction of property, parking his construction company's equipment near his home as he had always done, and for numerous other municipal code violations. Kirkwood said in a state court memorandum in 2003 that by May 2002, Multiple trials in city and county courts had concluded with Thornton pleading guilty to or being found guilty of more than 100 of 114 charges. Charges were dropped, or Thornton was not found guilty on at least a dozen other charges. Thornton said later in federal court and at the Kirkwood City Council meetings that he had received more than 150 tickets. Courts ordered that he paid nearly $20,000 in fines and court costs. Links to files show scanned copies of most of the citations have been placed online as part of an investigative story by a local television station. Thornton filed for bankruptcy in December 1999. During the bankruptcy process, he was put on a plan to get out of debt. He will pay $4,425 a month for 5 years, but Thornton stopped making payments within 4 months and moved the portion of his business that he had for a while occupied a rental property in a nearby commercially zoned area back into his residentially zoned neighborhood. Thornton never paid any of the fines from the Kirkwood Code violation cases concluded in 2001 and 2002. Instead, he appeared regularly at city council meetings complaining of persecution, fraud, and cover-up by the city officials. In 2003, he had signs on the side of his van, in which he vowed he would never again accept lies from the city of Kirkwood. Thornton also repeatedly sued the city and Kirkwood Public Works Director Ken Yost in state court unsuccessfully during a period of several years in the early 2000s. From 2004 onward, Thornton, despite having no education, training, or experience in the practice of law, acted as his own attorney. In 2005, the Missouri Court of Appeals opinion dismissing his suit against Kirkwood and Ken Yost for malicious prosecution and civil rights violations termed his brief largely incomprehensible. After several years of the lawsuits, he declined an offer from the city to let his fines remain unpaid in exchange for dropping his last lawsuit against the city and no longer disrupting council meetings. I mean, he had this thing with Ken Yost. He even assaulted him before he killed him. So okay. Y'all can read more about this brother online. I just want to give a background. This man was a victim of gentrification. You understand what I'm saying? He was a black business owner. And you got to remember, most of the lynching victims in this country were black business owners. Because it's interesting. That was hidden in pocket, man, because he didn't have no deep pockets. I mean, Meacham Park was a black community or black neighborhood, whatever you want to call it. But the white folks wanted gentrification. They're going to take over Meacham Park. That fell down. But anyway, but the ancestors are not pleased. But y'all need to do this research and stop living in a vacuum. Stop caring about the entertainment. This is one of many stories that black folks had to endure in this country. I'm in Memphis, a black town, but it's ran by white people. They're the minority. And if you're a business contractor, a black business owner, sometimes you have a rough time getting contracts from the city government and from the city. They discriminate against black people. Even though you got a black town with black people in office, a lot of our people in office are white supremacists. They do the bidding of white zaddy. They don't care about our people. They don't care about creating opportunities for our community or for our neighborhoods or for our neighborhoods to become communities. Because they have a real community, like Bobby D. Gregory said. You got to control your police, your education. How can we say we have a black community? We don't control our education, our police, our food. We don't control that stuff. So we really have no community. We have a bunch of black folks living in a part of town. So Charles Cookie Thornton was a victim of gentrification wars. Like his brother said, one of his brothers said, he was fighting a war. He said he was fighting a war. And it is a war to survive and thrive as a black person in America. This year is the centennial observation of the Black Wall Street massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They just recently found mass graves of black people buried in the city of Tulsa related to that tragedy. All the black lives destroyed, the intellectual property lost, the property, the real estate lost, the businesses destroyed, generational wealth lost. And all white folk, I mean, y'all get happy when HBO do The Watchmen. Ooh, I told y'all did this to us. I told y'all. Y'all want white folks to acknowledge y'all. I want justice. Justice don't mean that white folks got to accept your pain. We got to acknowledge our pain, to embrace it, to heal from it, to get some insight about who we are as a people. And that's why We All Be Matters right now, because you're not going to get these type of stories told on a lot of other platforms from people that look like me or you. So, I mean, I think it's very important that I talk. I'm not mad at anybody. I don't believe in censorship. Trolls' lives matter. Troll lives matter. But don't act like I just supposed to take everything because, oh, brother Ron, you the public figure. You don't supposed to have no feelings. Charles Lee Cookie Thornton said enough was enough. That man, you could tell that man had a thing for people. They call him Cookie, man. His nickname was Cookie. They said they would disrespect that man in City Hall. Didn't want him to speak. He was a citizen. Why are you going to censor his right to speech? It's so many stories like this. It's some other stories I wanted to play tonight, but I'm going to save it for another night because I'll be making these movie reviews longer than the movie. But, I used American Skin thing as a Trojan horse to talk about this stuff. Because black folks, we need to know about Robert Charles and how the police disrespected this man. This man was minding his business with his roommate, waiting for their girlfriends to come out their home. And the police just wanted to mess with this man. They ain't know Robert Charles was packing like that. A lot of black men were carrying guns back in the day, or black in the day. My great-grandfather from Greenville, South Carolina. I got a picture, and he was tall, dark, and handsome. They called him the African. He was a master barber and a businessman. He stayed carried a gun on him. One day, this white neighbor was disrespecting his mama because the white neighbor would keep his bull next to their property line where his mom had her clothesline. And so he went over there and told the white man, "Can you please remove your bull from the property line? Because I'm afraid for my mother's safety." And basically, the white man cursed him out and all that, and he came back and shot and killed the white man. Had to leave South Carolina, changed his last name from Perret to French. Met my great grandmother in Joplin, Missouri, Anna Miller, and they settled in Kansas City, Kansas. Owned property, owned a pool hall, owned a successful barber business. Had his kids late. He had my great grandma, my grandmother, Grandma Brito, Lita. He had her when he was about 65 years old, either about 65 or 66. He died in his 70s. But that's my people. But he used to carry a gun on him at all times. He had to kill a white man to protect his mama. So, no, we got to talk about Charles Cookie Thornton. Like, we don't want to talk about Michael Johnson or Gavin Long. We don't act like there's something wrong with them. But they were soldiers. They took an oath when they joined the military to protect the United States against enemies, both foreign and domestic. Don't you think it's strange that these guys sign up for the military? They fight the enemy overseas, but that same enemy could come over here and own a business in our community? They could end up, the one they call the enemy end up being their boss and said business in their neighborhood. The ironies of this so-called American experiment. Here you are, Joe Biden said he can give y'all nothing. And yet he'll go ahead get 11 million illegal immigrants on a fast track to citizenship. Where you and our ancestors bled for this country. We built this country. We died for this country. And they say, well, we ain't gonna give y'all nothing. And these are your new overseers. And y'all just accept anything. As long as I guess your team win the Super Bowl or your team win the NBA championship, who cares? Who cares? Or why they don't nominate black people for Oscars? Who give a damn? See, like that's what I'm saying. Halle Berry said, "Well, I don't see why they ain't never got no black best actress winner for a black actress since I won." How did you win your Oscar, Halle? How did you win it? They bend you over. They should have just screwed you with the Oscar, I guess. I don't know. But y'all still looking for white validation, even in 2021. Y'all still looking for white validation, and it's sickening. It's very sick. Yeah, Lone Ranger is based on Bass Reeves. He's probably the greatest U.S. Marshal of all time. He worked out of Arkansas Territory, out of Fort Smith, Arkansas. Y'all know Rudy Ray Moore. Dolomite is from Fort Smith, Arkansas. No, he was working for the hanging judge. I think the hanging judge's name was Isaac Parker. This man arrested over 3,000 people in his lifetime. Bass Reeves was a bad man in a good way. This man even had to bring his son to justice. When his son killed his wife, he had to bring his own son into justice. And, he arrested his own son and brought him to justice, whatever they're supposed to mean. But, it's a lot of history here, man. That's what I'm saying. I like doing movie reviews because it give me a chance to talk about other stuff. But y'all should go see American Scan and share what you think about it. But I think I'm going to end it for tonight. I don't want to get no noise complaints from the neighbors. But it'll be other times on other shows. Like the ancestors told me, if I take care of y'all, they'll take care of me. And I want to thank y'all for supporting this We All Be Cause. Always, like y'all doing, Cash App your support, $ R2C2H2. Google Pay, Zelle. Google Pay, Zelle. And PayPal, email r2c2h2@gmail.com. And Vimo at r2c2h2. Also, you can buy Art of His Art. This is one of my pictures I did about maybe 20 years ago, maybe 21 years ago. No Justice, Just Us. I did that. Part of the series of works I was working on. But you go to r2c2h2.com for that. Also, my Teespring. Go down in the description box where my Billie Holiday shirt. You can wear Art of His Art. Go to our Teespring account at the shelf below the description. And thank y'all for tuning in and share this with your people. Get this word out. I just taught y'all something. Y'all learned something. Y'all should learn something new every day. A lot of y'all just heard about Charles Cookie Thornton for the first time, Robert Charles. And it was some other people I wanted to share, but I'll do that another time because I got to eat something. But y'all take care. Thank you, Solid Count. Appreciate that. And in the words of Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Y'all keep on producing and pushing. Yep, no justice, just us, man. We all we got, so we got to be kind to each other and get on some type of code. And you don't have to watch American Skin. We live American Skin every day. No justice, no peace every day. Just us. So thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate it. And may God and the righteous ancestors continue to guide and protect. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Sexy Jones. Thank everybody for tuning in. These are interesting questions. You asked an interesting question. I mean, we the expendables, man. We the expendables. Black folks always been collateral damage, lab rats and guinea pigs for this country. And we ain't never going to change. We love being used by people. Black folks, the more you disrespect us, the more we love you. You notice that? The more Joe Biden disrespects black people, the more black folks love Joe Biden. Think about, like, even last year with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. I hate that they died, but, like they were like Malcolm X died, or, Dr. King or Alberto Del Jones or Ida B. Wells. You were just everyday black folks. A lot of times black folks don't do anything until something happens to them. You know why you want to survive? Don't wait till something happens to you or your loved ones. Get active before that happens. A lot of people say, man, I remember I talked to a friend. I'm going to go out to this. This friend, she's a bodybuilder now, but she Ivy League educated type of woman. Conservative, was a big time sales rep at a big pharmaceutical company. Very bougie, very well educated. I remember we had this conversation some years ago, and she was laughing at me. He said, Brother Ron, why you so like black, all this? You so militant and black, and you talk about black history and all this stuff. You just all into blackness. What about the money? What about this? Okay. And then you know what crazy? A couple of weeks later, she was pulled over by some police near an exit near her home. She had a nice home. She had she had nice cars, living the American dream. So they pulled her over. And I think they pulled her over near an exit at her home, but I think she ended up going to a Burger King parking lot. She had a group of police officers that basically dragged her out of her window. They, on her driver's side, she had to drive her window down. They basically pulled her out the window and started beating on her. They beat on her. And this woman had all types of connections. NACP, her mother was a rocket scientist and stuff like that. She had all type of connections. But yet, what I was talking about did not make sense to her until it finally happened to her. So she finally experienced that police brutality firsthand. It didn't make sense to her. Then all that, she started looking at all these black movies like Roots and stuff. But I'm not knocking her, but she never brought it up again about me, laughing at me about being. Sometimes you don't have to get an ass whooping to know that ass whoopings hurt. You know what I'm saying? I saw you got that ass whooping, so I don't want to get the ass whooping. So, I learned, you don't have to smoke crack to learn that crack is bad for you. Look at the people that you know that may have smoked crack. And look how they're like, but I'm saying, you don't have to go through everything to know that something is real. And what I'm saying to her, she learned a very important lesson, but she come to find out that the cop who initiated the assault against her, he had a reputation for attacking black motorists. And for some reason, they keep him on the force. They move him around. I guess he got some relatives high up in the chain. This is what they do. Like after they kill black people in one area, they move them somewhere else. Whether it be Mike Brown or that brother named Jamal Crawford up in Ohio, got killed in Walmart. Then his baby mama, see, I don't talk about her. She got killed crazy in some weird high impact speed accident just several years ago. They dogged her out on the interrogation camera, and like she killed the man. They made her feel bad, but she ended up getting killed in a high speed auto accident, and nobody never followed up on that. See, that's why it's important to have black media that cares about black people. I don't care about the gossip in the sports games. I care about the blood sport that's being perpetrated against our people. It's time to wake up. So with this said, thank y'all for listening. Where's the great Duke Ellington? We love you madly. And y'all take good care of yourselves. This is only the beginning, but self-care is the best health care. So y'all be kind to each other and to yourselves. And until the next time, stay black. Choose black. Choose you. Choose us. Because we all be in it to win it, man. One love.